notes, and without being sort of self-promotion, everything I talk about today, I'm going to talk about the resilience wheel on the home page of the website. There's series 1 of a podcast. Okay, so you can have a listen to more of what I talk about today. There's 7 aspects to the wheel, and there's 10 episodes on the podcast. So I talk about all of the aspects of the wheel on there. So you'll get a real whistle-stop tour of it today. And if you're interested, okay, there's a series of podcasts where I go into more detail on all the bits and pieces that I talk about. Right, lovely. Massive thank you for asking to be here. I was at the Asda House session, and I still refer to that absolute analogy of literally we are flying the aeroplane as we are building it. That was one of the most specific examples of that I've ever heard when we went to the Asda session last time. So I'm Russell, the resilience coach, not any old resilience coach, and I'll talk a little bit about what I'm going to talk about, and then if there's anything specific that you want me to cover, then let me know. And absolutely, I don't want to talk at you for the next 45 minutes. I'm going to do a bit, and I'll go, right, stand up, move around, or talk to the person next to you. Okay, it's not necessarily a death by PowerPoint session that we're going to do. Vast majority of my career in learning, leadership, organisational development. I'm a coach and a facilitator, and I've specialised in the word resilience and the lovely acronym of VUCA, V-U-C-A. Everybody familiar with that for some period of time? If you're not, then feel free to say so. And it's just sharing my experiences around that. I came to the word resilience and VUCA about 13 years ago. The last permanent role I had was at the Co-op Group, not long after I joined, so nothing to do with me. There was billions of pounds worth of money not there. Okay, so I was 6 months after I joined, so I couldn't steal billions of pounds worth of money in 6 months. So it was nothing to do with me. And as a result of that, all of my internal leadership clients literally came to me with their head in their hands and went, Russell, the world's full on our heads. And I went, well, there's this word resilience and there's this acronym VUCA. Our solutions are in there. This is how we're going to get ourselves out of this. So that was my initial experience to it. Yes, Russell.
Question over there. So, VUCA, sorry, what is VUCA?
Thank you so much. It's good. It's brilliant. So the world we live in is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Okay, that's the acronym. And so it's a model, it's got a military context to it. There were some occupational psychologists that brought it together, and in about the 1990s brought it into the business world and said, do you think that this will be useful? And most business people said, yes, it is. And it's a real mixed bag. I talked to some people in the industry and they sort of say, I'm sick and tired of this VUCA acronym. Boring, stop talking about it, okay? And there are other people that have come along and said, oh, we're not going to talk about VUCA anymore. And they've got another acronym because that's what people do, okay? And nicely, more buzzwords. There's the same acronym about how you face into volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And that is vision, understanding, clarity, and agility, okay? However, when you look behind the scenes of those 8 buzzwords, there's good stuff in there that is useful for leaders to think about, and there are leadership capabilities and peak performance skills. There's a free questionnaire that you can take. You can email me afterwards and I'll send it off to you around have you got the peak performance skills to be a VUCA leader, and they link heavily to resilience. Okay, so that's the full gamut of what I do, and today I'm predominantly going to be talking about the resilience piece. But thank you, Russell, for asking the question because people don't. So I'm going to talk more today about you personally, your personal resilience, and everything I talk about today, you can transfer it straight away to your team. So anything that you're thinking about yourself today, you could immediately go back tomorrow and have a chat with your team about the resilience wheel in relation to your whole team, and you can apply it in some way, shape or form to organisations. I'm not a specialist on organisational resilience in the terms of looking at risks and getting attacked by cyber attacks. That's not my specialism. I'm very much around the human resilience side of things. That's my specialism. Series 2 of my podcast, which isn't out yet, is how to build a resilient organisation from a human level. So we'll see how that lands when we talk about things. So clarify resilience is going to be about springing forward, the resilience wheel. I like to talk about optimism and positivity, and then we'll go from there. So a rhetorical question for you now. How will your life improve when you choose to be more self-full? That's my rhetorical question for you right now, okay? So, what does anybody think that the word self-full actually means? What do I mean by self-full?
Opposite of selfish.
Opposite of selfish? Not quite, but a good response. Personally fulfilling. And what else are you going to say, Russell?
I was going to say being all of yourself.
Be all of yourself. So that's one of the sort of definitions that there is around self-full. The one that we're talking about is from the Urban Dictionary. So, being self-full, a person that betters oneself without disregarding others. Okay? So selfish is absolutely completely, I'm only bothered about me. Everybody else can go to hell in a handcart, you know. Selfless is I'm only bothered about other people and I have got no time for myself, okay? And that's when you get burnout, okay? And that's when you get yourself sometimes into trouble with your mental health. And self-full is making the value system choice to go, I'm going to look after me in order that I can be great for others. I can be the best leader that I can be, the best family member I can be, the best friend I can be, the best team member I can be. So you do put an element of yourself first in order that you can look after others. So it's a bit of a rhetorical question. When you choose to go away from here today and decide to be more self-full, how will your life be better? Okay, and we'll come back to that at the end and see if you've got some more ideas around it. My intentions whenever I sort of chat with people is I'm not trying to add to your task list. Okay, so when you choose to go away from here today and decide to do something about your personal development, around your personal resilience, my intention is not to add to something on your to-do list. Okay, my intention is to think about, okay, if I choose to go away from here today and do something, something else has to drop away. You have to think about it, the idea of a replacement. Okay, so what are you going to stop doing to start being more self-full is my intention around this. So, what I have noticed in the world of sort of resilience and the world today is just lots of good conversation around this idea of being positive. So I just like to think about how you get to positive is through optimism. Now, when you look at the dictionary definition of optimism, it's got the word positive to describe it. So they are massively interlinked, okay? But it's also thinking about, I have noticed a lot in the world today, people sort of say, well, this is all a bit of a car crash and it's terrible and it's awful and it's all gone wrong. Let's just be positive, okay? No, okay? So what resilient people do is they're more betterer, official English, more betterer, okay, is that they're more better at optimism. So that is grounded in reality. Okay, so it's reminding ourselves that optimism is grounded in reality. Our starting point is we can have a good quality conversation with ourselves and with others to go, this is pretty not good, this project, or this is an awful situation, but can we get some consensus on how awful it is? Okay? So there's no burying our head in the sand. It's like, are we having good quality conversations with our teams around if something's not working, are we really genuinely accepting with good grace what isn't working? And when we're talking about the things that aren't working, it's not to depress ourselves. Okay? We might, as we start to do it, we might sort of go, God, it's a lot worse than I thought it was. Okay, all right. But then it's about how do I accept with good grace our starting point if it's not good, you know? Then the next thing that you do is you think about your levels of resilience. You think about your strengths, your skills, your experiences, your capabilities, your attitude, your mindset, behaviors that you've got and the people around you have got. And then you go, do you know what? I'm starting to get some feelings of hope. Genuine hope, not false hope, real hope, that actually we can face into this. And now I'm feeling optimistic. And oh, actually, I've got some feelings of positivity. Yes?
Have you got any tools or come across tools that enable you to measure optimism in individuals?
So there will be. So the short answer is yes. I'll have to go and have a think. I know it might be the fact that you just have to revisit. There's a number of different resilience questionnaires, and there might be some questions in there that tease that out, essentially. So I'll have a think, and I'll let you know. And from a leadership point of view, it is about the leader role modeling and asking the right questions, with their team members to go, actually, have we buried our heads in the sand? Are we pretending that things aren't right? Yes, Paul.
Just reflecting back on what you're saying there about the positivity and optimism. A few months ago, I did a session on resilience with my team, and linking back to transformation and change. Normally, when you go for change and transformation, there's a lot of dark places. Going through the transition phase is difficult, and it's a trade-off. And normally, the product you end up with is not pleasing anybody, and it's minimum viable product, etc. And where we come up as a team in terms of resilience is having the vision statement at the front, which is classic change, and linking all the transition stages to that. And the optimism is the fact that you've got the end in mind.
Yeah.
But you've still got, while you're going through that, you can't be resilient and blindly follow the plan. Sometimes a resilient person is the person who challenges the plan.
Yes.
And digs the root cause. So just linking back, sometimes optimism is wanting to get to the end without blindly following the path.
Yeah, and so I'm also mindful of, well as like in the VUCA sense, we talk about situational awareness to go, we've got the vision, we've decided this is where we're going, and you can do water analogies of like, we're on the boat and this is the direction of travel. It's like whitewater rafting. I'm going with the flow. We've got the situational awareness, but actually now's the moment when I'm going to stick my oar in the sand and realize I need to stop or I need to change direction. So it's absolutely that balance around when do we keep going and when do we change direction. And when people have generally built their overall resilience, which is the wheel I'll talk about shortly, that's when you get yourself into a head, heart, and a gut space as an individual and a team, that we've built our resiliency levels to a much better place, that we deal much better with all of these challenges. We then feel much better to make some great decisions around it. And we've learned actually when to keep going and when to change course. And overall, even though we've got minimal viable product, we still maintain our levels of optimism. So everything's sort of slightly interconnected for now. But just remember, optimism. So I'm trying to go against toxic positivity. When I talk about optimism, I'm trying to, it's like, just be positive, I don't like it. I don't like toxic positivity. It's not nice, Being positive is great, okay? And optimism is grounded in reality. So I'm curious with you all about how in the roles that you do, how good are you at having grounded in reality conversations that don't turn to a real negativity whinge fest, and then shift you into my strengths, your strengths, my skills, my capabilities, your attitude. Collectively, have we got some real genuine hope? Oh, okay, I'm feeling as though even though this is really challenging, we can face into it and we can do it. So you get better at optimism when you build your resilience. So a couple of bit more talking, and then I'll give you a chance to sort of chat to each other. From my years of experience, this is the definition of resilience that I would like you to take away from this session, okay? This exists, bounce back, okay? And it is once again English, more betterer, for you to think of resilience as springing forward with learning, okay? Because life happens to us, we have our experiences, we face into them, and then if we say to ourselves, oh, this thing happened, it was quite good, it was really challenging, it was really great, I'll now go back. As you all know, you can't go back, okay? So there is a risk sometimes that will say, I'll go back to how I was before. So it just moves away from anybody sort of saying, when things get back to normal, you will know in your experience that they won't ever get back to normal, because there's always going to be something different else that's coming along and adding to the latest version of what we call normal. So springing forward with learning. So to do that from all of life's experiences, whether they're the really nice, brilliant, enjoyable experiences, or whether they're the difficult, challenging experiences, you need to pause. Okay? And you need to reflect. and you need to recuperate, and you need to re-energize. And any other words I can think of beginning with the letter R, revivify yourself, okay? So how good are you from all of life's experiences pausing and reflecting and re-energizing? So how do you re-energize from those experiences that you find nice tiring? Because it might be different to how you re-energize from those experiences that you found really difficult and really challenging. You'll find that there are some differences. So please go away from this session thinking about actually resilience is springing forward learning. If you're in any arena in the future and somebody says, resilience is about bouncing back, please go, well, there was this weird bloke in a shirt called Russell that talked about springing forward learning. You know, that's what would help. Yes.
Can I just ask a question just on that?
Absolutely, of course.
Would you define resilience as only relating to adverse events?
No. Did you say it was Nat? Andy. Ooh, there was that. Gosh, I'm so sorry. Andy. Oh, apologies, Andy. Ask the question again to make sure I heard you correctly.
So would you define resilience as only relating to adverse events rather than positive?
No, it's literally from all of life's events, you need to recover. So even if you have a really nice, fantastic, wonderful time playing to your strengths, you're absolutely at your best, you're loving it, and a great day, you're nice tired. Yeah, but you also need to recuperate from nice tired. Yeah, so adverse isn't always about negative events, you know. It can just be, it's there in the definition. So no, it's resilience is about springing forward from all of life's events, is what I would say. Okay, keep coming with the questions. That's brilliant. It's really good. In your pauses and your reflections, 2 questions. It's always good to get into the habit of asking yourself. From my recent experiences, what am I going to keep doing because it worked really well for me? Okay, and what am I going to stop doing because it didn't work well for me? Okay, 2 reflective questions to just keep asking yourself in all of your pauses. This worked really well for me, so what am I going to keep doing that, you know, absolutely demonstrated that I was at my best and it was good? And what am I going to stop doing because it was just stupid, you know? I was metaphorically banging my head against a brick wall, so I'm going to stop doing it. So please ask yourself those questions. I'm going to talk about these 2, and then these 3, and then I'm going to stop, okay? For a moment and get you to talk amongst yourselves and stand up and move around. At the heart of resilience is your attitude, okay? So if anybody was ever to ask me, so Russell, the resilience coach, how do you build your resilience? My answer is, there's this wheel thingy, okay? So this comes from loads of research from Robertson Cooper, 2 people that just did loads of work around resilience and put it into the world for free. They created this model here with these words on it, and I've added these 2 from my years of experience, okay? And there's a podcast episode on every single one of those, okay? So at the heart of resilience is your attitude. So you'll get slides afterwards. There's also a video recording. Please take this away with you, soft copy, okay? And for the rest of your life, work upon your resilience wheel. When you work upon your resilience wheel, when you choose to be more self-full, okay, look after myself in order so I can do well for others, then you'll be just getting all aspects of your wheel into a decent place. And then you'll be building this resilience armor around yourself. Anybody remember the Ready Breck advert? There was a little kid that had an orange glow around them. That's what I visualize in my head, you know, do me wheel, and I've got a resilience glow around me, you know, that's how I visualize it. There were a few, yeah, there were a few nods. So this is your settled way of thinking and feeling about life. Your attitude is, I either can be thinking to myself, life happens to me and there's nothing I can do about it, or I'm saying, actually, I am mistress, master of my own destiny, and everything that happens in my life is completely down to me, and you're going to be on a scale. You know, it's your second way of thinking and feeling about life. And resilient people have these things going on for them in different ways, and that builds their general resilience and really helps them be naturally optimistic. So purpose. Have you got one? Do you know what yours is? Can you articulate it? Is there one for your team? Okay, there might be ones for your projects, but I'm thinking about this is a bit more about what's your legacy. Okay, it's that type of question. You may need some smart goals to help you achieve your purpose, but I'm not trying to, let's not talk about smart right now, because, just for the moment. It's more about your overarching legacy and why you're here. So my purpose is, by the year 2025, I want to positively affect 100,000 people. Right now, I'm up to about 43,318-ish. Okay? That's just who I am. That's why I do what I do. That's why I'm the resilience coach. That's why I work with people. And my definition of positively affect is anybody that I come in contact with, and if I see them sort of go, I can use that. That's a good idea, that is. Or, I had this problem and, I know how to solve it. That's positively affect. Okay? That's just why I get out of bed every day, to see how many moments of those can I find in life. To do that, I need to be selfful. I need to be in a good place. Okay? So, have you got a purpose? All right? And it's also, in a team sense, it's more about, why do these human beings come together? It's more about the human reason for coming together. What's the purpose around, actually, we're here to get the best out of each other? That's what's a really good purpose within the team. Confidence is that at any particular moment in time, in relation to this, how much do we believe that we can do something? Okay? Do we believe that we can beat life? Okay? Do we believe that we're suddenly asked you to go rock climbing? We can do it. So somebody come over here and cook this meal that you've never cooked before. Do you believe in the moment? So anytime you delegate something to somebody, and leaders are fantastic at delegation, okay? Anytime you delegate something to the person in front of you, it's like how much they believe in that moment that they can or can't do it. Or when you are delegated to yourself in any particular moment, how much do you believe you can do something? So, stand up, move around just for like 3 minutes and actually sort of go, yes, I've got a purpose. No, I've never thought about it. Where are you personally on whether you've got a purpose, on how much you have got self-belief? How would you answer that? Talk to somebody just for a few minutes. Stand up, move around, talk to somebody different. Yeah, cool. Okay. Do you want to just bring those to a close and have a little seat? Okay. Oh, I appreciate those are conversations that could go on forever. So we're just opening the door and teasing these out now. So please go away from here and think more about where you are. So when you get every aspect of this wheel, so today you can do some form of self-assessment. It's your own personal self-assessment. How would you rate yourself out of 10 on all aspects of the wheel? 10 being high and 1 being low, or smiley face to grumpy face, what would your self-assessment be? So I'm just curious, just for a minute, around anything that cropped up around either purpose or your self-belief. What did you notice, or was anything that you've sort of realised from your very quick chat that you had?
I would say, speaking from what I observed from what you said and what I reflect on what I just said as well, is that it's quite surprising how I think it's a recent purpose that you've got now.
Yeah, it's a redefined, rather than completely recent, it's a redefined. Because it was my purpose before I was with Qualcomm was something different, but for the same reasons. If that makes
Similar
sense.
thing,
Yeah.
but different.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas for me, mine has been a reflection of the past 5-6 months and the realisation. So mine's different to what it was that one element of it different to what it was 6 months ago. But the service design piece is completely still there. And that's great. So it's changing,
Yes.
adapting
Yes.
all the time, and that's my reflection is that it develops all the time. It doesn't stay in one single thing.
Absolutely, yes, and it's linked to your values. And there is, I think it needs updating, but there is it's from the 1970s, but it's like there's a life stages questionnaire you can sometimes do with people that helps them sort of understand where they are in a life stage, with some age ranges to it. And some of the sort of questioning around it probably needs updating. But yeah, it's not uncommon to go, oh, it used to be this, or recently we redefined it, or I'm in a transition phase and I've got no idea, literally none, about what it is, Quite often leaders come to me and go, I didn't get the job that I've gone for, and I always used to get them. And I've suddenly not got it for the very first time. And I go, so can I engage with a coach and find out about it? And it goes into, why am I here? Type conversation. Anything else from anybody else in terms of just a quick, yes, Andy?
I think we were chatting about, when we were talking about the personal sort of into the organisational thing, we were talking about apples and oranges. So we're not mutually exclusive, but are both driven by each other. So for instance, if your internal ability to nurture your own resilience is enabled by the organisational culture
Yes.
and boundaries, the ability to fail, the ability to put your hand above the parapet and say, I don't know this, I need help with this.
Yes.
And so that's when you really see it, when you, for instance, if you move from a corporate environment in the private sector to the corporate environment in the public sector, that's when people trip themselves up and don't see that difference in culture and how it affects one's personal ability to actually be resilient. It's not always what you do, it's the environment you're in that enables your resilience.
Yeah, and there's just so many different things to demonstrate. So the World Happiness Report was out in March, and one of the criteria around what makes you happy is whether you have a good line manager or not. Boss selection is very important. Absolutely, it's quite incredible. And for me, potentially culturally, many organisations talk about you're allowed to take risks, or it's okay to fail. It's said as words, but how does that play out in practice? It varies all over the place. And if you're in a culture where it is words and not actions you're allowed to fail, if in there you have a line manager that actually is a buffer and goes, you are allowed to fail, and I'll support you and I'll protect you in the most appropriate way, then that's amazing. Okay, but then if you have a culture of an organisation that says we're just pretending when you say you're allowed to fail, and the line manager also goes, welcome, here's your introduction to the organisation, you're allowed to fail. All right, I've just made a bit of a cock up. Well then, let's take you into this darkened room and rip you to shreds. It makes a difference, doesn't it? Anything else from anybody else before I move on to the others?
We had a moment.
You often have a moment, Martin.
We have not met before, and found we have a shared purpose.
Ooh.
Or was it Harvey that called it porpoise?
Don't.
There's another age reference. Well, check that one out. I was going to check before, but it's rude. Our shared purpose, we think, is Andrew is a fellow dog joiner. I'm a dog joiner. I love to join dogs.
You do.
And I find it quite playful and mischievous to talk about it because it's a childlike thing, but it's got a lot of depth to it.
Totally.
And Andrea can stand up for that and then explain how Andrea does it in her own way and change transformation. And then we got that excited, we forgot what the second question was.
It's all right, it's fine. It doesn't matter. It's all right. Yay!
That's all right. And we joined our dogs.
This is it.
We had a moment. There we are.
No, it's absolutely superb. And Martin is an incredible dog joiner. He's brilliant. And all of this is interconnected. Anytime you work on any aspect of your wheel and you improve any aspect of it, it has positive impacts on all other aspects of the wheel themselves. Hello, welcome, come in. I think there's a chair in the back or there's one there. This is the naughty one where, you have to sit if you want to be in trouble. When you have a purpose, it's the fact that it's just like this idea of a stone of life. It gives you a bit of grounding, okay? So when things are tough or challenging, if you know that you're meeting your purpose, that helps you with your confidence. That's how they're interconnected, So the confidence piece on here is at any particular moment in time, how much you believe you can do something, which is influence your balance of positive, negative thoughts. And that's heavily connected to the meaning one, which we'll come back to later. So my intention, I'll talk about these two now and give you another opportunity to talk to each other, just depending on timings. I appreciate how experienced you are in the room, not here to patronize. So, funnily enough, the word adaptability, exists within resilience a lot. Yes, Paul? 5 minutes left, right? Yeah, okay, fine. Right, I'll talk about the rest then, and we'll see where we get to. So I'll talk about the rest, and then the 5 minutes will be up. So, as you know, openness to change. So this goes all the way back to, and I appreciate the room that I'm in, and people listening on the recording later. This just goes back to how do you answer the question of do you like change? Okay, and the room's always going to go, well, it depends. Yeah. So it's great for you to go reflect upon. Why are you saying? How come you're saying to yourself, it depends? So there are some changes you do like, some changes that you don't like, some changes that you're okay with, some changes that you're not okay with. All right. The research shows, there's an additional piece of research by Jennifer Campbell from the Resilience Engine, that those people that work upon their adaptability for the third of their time, they get themselves into the lovely place called thrive. Rather than coping and surviving, they get into thrive. So resilient people thrive. If we are literally just hanging on, coping and surviving, it may in times what we have to do, and I've had to be doing that recently for personal circumstances of coping, surviving, and hanging on. But resilient people, they actually spend more time in thrive, where even though there's a lot going on, they can genuinely say to themselves, I'm okay, I'm pretty good. So those that work upon their adaptability, their openness, their curiosity, to change, then they are working on it a third of their time. So what does that look like, sound like, and feel like to you as a personal development plan? That's something for you to go away and have a play around with. And so, as you all know, slight nuance between adaptability and agility. Adaptability is open to doing change, but not necessarily doing it. I'm open to the idea of doing it, but I'm not actually doing it. Okay? Agile is like, I've made the decision quickly to do it. You know, so just remind yourselves of that. They're words that you will be saying on a weekly, daily basis. Adaptable, agile, flexible, you know, but just think about, are we being agile here or adaptable, or are we being neither, you know?
I'm just smiling, Russell, because in this room, the word agile, everyone will be firing.
Yes.
Into context you give them.
Yes, absolutely. So, there's more in this one. Okay, so when you spend more time working on openness, curiosity, the idea of doing new things, that helps more. Support network, be kind when you do this. This is your mixture of the people you've got in your life that radiate you, that you love spending time with, okay, all of you, and those that when you spend time with them, you're like, oh, God, I've got to go and have a meeting with Fred. Oh, hell. You know, the people that drain you. So if you're spending all of your time with the people that you're going, oh God, okay, and little time with those people that energize you, you need to make some shifts and balances, okay? So be kind to people around that one, but your support network is massive, all right? Meaning is the stories we tell ourselves. This is heavily linked to confidence. So as human beings, we're storytellers. This is how you respond to the question of how are you? How is your day? How is the meeting going? How is the project going? How's work going? How's life going? How are you? Okay? You can respond to it however you want. Okay? But if you say to yourself, Russell, how was your day? And I go, well, it started at 7:30 and it went downhill from there. And every meeting I went to was a disaster. And I think everybody thinks I'm an idiot and I'm bleeding useless. Okay? I have given myself I've given myself a memory and a belief that I'm useless. Okay? So notice how you're saying it. Then just think about, could I reframe that? Is that really true? Is that genuinely true? Or could I find moments to go, actually, do you know what? It wasn't all bad, because I saw Martin in the corridor and he said, are you all right, Russell? And I went, do you know what? That was nice, Martin. That's me. So, and then I can reframe my day. So every single time you'll get asked the question, how are you? How's life? How's work? How's the weekend? How's the holiday? Notice how you're answering it. And could there be a truthful, don't make stuff up, but is there a better way in which you can start to answer that question and it impacts upon this? And this here is all about, in the workplace, are you playing to your strengths? So when I talked about optimism, I said, you're thinking about your strengths, the things that you naturally enjoy doing. So you're naturally energized by certain things that you enjoy doing. And there's a psychometric called Strength Scope with 24 strengths on it. You take a test, you self-assess, and 3 of my significant 7 strengths, because you can't be good at all 24, are collaboration. I'm naturally energized by working with others. I'm naturally energized by developing others. I'm a coach. And I'm naturally energized by strategic mindedness, big picture. And I am utterly, utterly de-energized by detail. Okay, so am I getting to play to my strengths as much as humanly possible? So it's reviewing your working week in your life to go, actually, everything I'm doing, how much of it is playing to my strengths? If you've got loads of time when you're not playing to your strengths, it will, de-energize you. Notice you've got circadian rhythms. You're either excited in the morning or in the evening. Okay, or late afternoon, you need to snooze, or late afternoon's your best time. And I am not an expert on this because I've got a nice beer belly. Just remember, your energy comes from diet and exercise. Okay, so when you choose to be more self-full, which is you go away from here and the rest of your life you're going to play around with your wheel, okay, you will build your levels of resilience to the Ready Brek kid. Nice orange glow around you. And as a result of that, you will genuinely, most of the time, feel more optimistic and you'll genuinely make better decisions. Thank you. Sorry if I went over.